Yuziyu unleashed a mighty punch that shattered the fused tree beast's defenses. The blow struck like a divine hammer, piercing straight through its chest, leaving behind a gaping, blood-red hole. Gravely wounded, the fused tree beast coughed violently, blood gushing from the wound. Dyeing its body in layer upon layer of crimson, it glanced down at the bloody hole in its chest, disbelief etched across its face. Yuziyu lifted his head, his gaze ice-cold, silently watching his dying enemy with an unreadable calm. The fused tree beast, bloodied and barely upright, raised its eyes to look at Yuziyu. What it saw next was a new assault already upon it. Yuziyu's ultimate technique, brilliant galaxy severance. In an instant, the space around him lit up with 1,000 dazzling blades of light, like a radiant silver galaxy stretching across the night sky. With a commanding thrust of his arm and a resounding shout, "Rise!" Countless blades sliced through the air, streaking toward the fused tree beast like a meteor storm. Each strike was sharper than the last, imbued with world-shattering force, tearing through flesh as the beast screamed in agony, its howls echoing with every cut. Not only was its body being shredded, but even the surrounding space began to rupture and collapse, revealing fragments of the void beyond. The sword rain continued to fall like stars crashing from the heavens, shaking the earth with deafening explosions. The lava lake below roiled, shooting up jets of crimson fire. Thick white smoke billowed, entirely obscuring the fused tree beast's form. Before it could catch a breath, a massive root burst from the molten lake. Rising under Yuziyu's command, it coiled tightly around the beast, hoisting it into the air like prey waiting for execution, bound and suspended. The beast suddenly noticed countless golden specks of light floating around it. Before it could react, the lights simultaneously exploded, like a storm of firebombs tearing the sky apart, engulfing it in a brilliant inferno. This was flame-shattering rain, one of Yuziyu's famed signature techniques. In mere seconds, the fused tree beast's body was sent hurtling, crashing into the lava below and triggering a massive wave of searing flame. Not far off, several hundred meters behind Yuziyu, Nine Tails and Xiaoling had just returned. With a quick glance at the scene, Nine Tails immediately grasped the state of the battle. Victory was leaning decisively toward their master, Yuziyu, who now completely dominated the battlefield. Xiaoling, standing beside her, stared in awe and admiration. "It seems Master hasn't even gone all out yet." Back at the fight, Yuziyu's gaze remained focused, his cold eyes fixed on the enemy he had just crushed, his lips curved into a faint smirk, his voice low and taunting. "Get up, you're too weak. This isn't even fun yet." The fused tree beast, bloodied and shaking, growled back, "What did you say?" Just as the words left its mouth, an ancient root sprouted from its body. It was a life force root from the primordial tree of life. In the blink of an eye, it completely regenerated the beast's wounds and enhanced its power even further. The root fused seamlessly into its body, now brimming with the unyielding force of eternal vitality, having been repeatedly suppressed by the divine tree. The fused tree beast let out a furious roar and launched a counterattack. "I am no one's plaything," it shouted, lunging toward Yuziyu in a feral charge. But before it could get close, a colossal root shot up from the ground, locking tightly around its head, yanking it back like a chained beast. Snared again, it roared in madness, "You think this can hold me?" In a fit of rage, it activated its newly fused power, brute force of the god of war. With a simple motion, the root restraining it was crushed like dry twigs. It then opened its mouth and unleashed a blast of elemental force straight from its core, a pure strike of divine elemental energy. Yet even under such a relentless barrage, Yuziyu remained composed. With both hands forming seals, he invoked elemental guard art. A massive earthen wall rose instantly, blocking the incoming force with impenetrable defense. The fused tree beast laughed arrogantly, its voice wild with madness. "I alone possess the full power of a god." But before it could revel in its boast, the sky cracked open with a divine roar. Lightning split the heavens and struck its body like divine retribution, a lightning strike from Yuziyu, offered as punishment for its excessive boasting. Beneath them, the lava lake surged, and massive roots, Yuziyu's divine tree roots, emerged in force, radiating a powerful life aura that stood in stark contrast to the hellish flames surrounding them. They twisted and coiled, once again binding the fused tree beast head like a chained dog. This technique, Yuziyu called it forest descent. The fused tree beast's eyes widened in shock, unable to believe what it saw. Plants from lava. Yuziyu, still in his dark spirit elf form, spoke coldly. This battle has dragged on long enough. It's time for the final curtain to fall. As he spoke, a chilling glint of cold light flashed in the depths of Yuziyu's eyes. The bound fused tree beast let out a sneer, its tone mocking. Don't talk like you're about to win. Just as it finished speaking, 2 more heads suddenly burst out from its body, writhing violently as if trying to tear free from within. In the blink of an eye, 2 clones of the fused tree beast, each resembling the original by nearly 90%, emerged. Yuziyu showed no surprise. He simply took a deep breath, calmly entered a battle stance, and stared ahead with a serene gaze, as if he had already anticipated this. The 2 clones roared, mouths wide open. We will not lose. With that roar, they transformed into 2 dark blurs, charging toward Yuziyu with a destructive aura. Yuziyu narrowed his eyes and shouted, "Temporal suspension, instant!" Immediately, time itself seemed to freeze. The 2 clones, mid-charge, halted in mid-air, all movement forcibly suspended. In that instant, Yuziyu summoned the great tree roots. At once, 9 massive roots, like predator serpents, surged forward toward the immobilized enemies. Each root carried tremendous power, like divine hammers, like industrial presses, smashing directly into the 2 clones. Boom! 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 The collisions echoed without pause. Every strike felt like it was shattering bone, leaving no room for breath. With a ferocious roar, Yuziyu drove the 9 great roots to attack relentlessly. Like a storm gone mad, the clones were ripped apart, screaming in agony, helpless as they flailed in vain, under the devastation of the 9 roots. In mere moments, a massive explosion erupted, consuming a huge swath of space. The residual force twisted into a tornado, sweeping toward 9 tails and Shaoling, who raised their arms to shield themselves, struggling against the overwhelming blast, at the center of the battlefield. Yuziyu remained standing tall, his cold eyes fixed on the dissipating smoke. The entire area was now shrouded in thick, choking dust. From within the murky cloud, a giant eye emerged from a ruined body. The fused tree beast, voice trembling, uttered heal, before it could even begin regenerating. Yuziyu, in his dark night elf form, charged in and delivered a vicious kick to its ravaged body. Boom! The fused tree beast flew like a ragdoll, slammed into a distant cliff wall. The entire space shook from the impact, and dust once again filled the air. Amid the rubble, only its one remaining eye cracked open, letting out a wheezing cough, though it was unclear where its mouth even was on that misshapen form. By then, Yuziyu had already walked up to it. He raised his foot and stomped down hard on the staring eye. Then, in a threatening tone, he spoke. "I'll ask a question, you answer it. If I don't like the answer, I'll crush your eyeball right here." As he said that, his foot remained firmly pressed against the twitching eye.